You wake up in the morning and you come outside, you say, man, I want to work on this, but instead, everything in the world shows up in your yard and says, hey, work on me instead.
Daddy, can we please get the boat running today?
Yeah, you know what, let's do that today. That'll be fun. I looked up what premix ratio this C115 takes, and actually runs on 50-1, which is almost just like all my weed eaters and small, two-stroke equipment. So I do want to put some outboard style oil in it. It's getting a little bit late in the afternoon now. I don't think that I really want to risk putting a whole bunch of fuel in that fuel tank as of yet. So I think I'm going to get a gas can and kind of make a temporary fuel tank for this guy, and go get a couple gallons of gas and some two-stroke oil, and we'll see if we can get this thing fired up tonight, and see if he wants to make some noise. Wish us luck. Yeah. Give it a little mixy mix. Well, we got it pretty well figured out now, temporarily at least, but as you can see in the last video, we cleaned the fuel tank out and we replaced the fuel line going all the way up to the bulkhead fitting. Bulkhead fitting is a fitting that goes in the hull of a fiberglass boat or a car firewall, anything like that, to allow something to pass through while, holding the fitting, keeping fluid from getting able to get passed through, keeping fire from getting able to pass through, all that good stuff. So this actually mounts in the hole with another nut. We placed our new fuel line onto here, going back, and of course we replaced all the outer stuff here, new primer bulb, new line, even new connector piece onto the engine. And I kept getting an issue with the prime, where I kept not being able to keep a prime up to this motor. I got a hold of the guy that I got the boat from, and sure enough, he said, oh yeah, that's the whole thing that, made me park the boat up to begin with. So I was going down the river, and it was like I just kept losing fuel. So he's like, I had plenty of fuel in it, and but I couldn't get it figured out. So he was telling me to put a new fuel pump on it. So I went ahead and I did that, and I still was having issues. We even installed a clear fuel filter on here just so I could see what was going on with the fuel, and sure enough, I was getting an incredible amount of air just going through the system. It was all pre-fuel pump, so I knew it wasn't my fuel pump. So I started looking around, and sure enough, when I took one of my deck plates off and reached down in there to this guy, I started getting gas all over my hands. And so of course the first reaction is I thought I had some hose clamp issues, started tightening those, changing them out, and they were all good. Finally I got frustrated and pulled the whole fitting out, and check this out, guys. Either this guy had got water in it and froze, or just got over tightened to begin with, and it actually split the fitting. And so this right here was actually my fuel leak, and air leak most of all. And so now that we've got this figured out, just temporarily, I've taken the fitting out and just passed some fuel line through the hole, and now we've got fuel going up to the engine. So I think we can actually get it running. Well, as you can see, we got it started. It was making some good little chopping two-stroke noises there, but with my muffs hooked up to it, I was not seeing any kind of water coming out of the telltale or coming out of the exhaust. So about as long as that video was about as long as I ran it, and then I, kind of got cold feet, something bad was going on, and wanted to shut it off before it got too hot on me. So I'm suspecting that we've got some kind of issue going on with this water pump in here. I had planned on changing it already. I got a kit on the way, so I just need to go ahead and tear this lower unit down off here. I'm not going to bore y'all with too many videos of this. It's a real simple process. You just zip the bolts up out of it. There's kind of a hidden bolt that's up underneath the torque tab, so you got to take the rubber plug up out of here and get a bolt going down through there to release the tab, and that's when you'll find your last bolt in there that's kind of hidden. I can almost see where somebody's been banging on this thing at one time. There's a little hairline crack up in the cab plate, so maybe somebody had to learn that lesson the hard way at one point. But get it tore down, put a new pump in it, and see what she does from there. Well, after getting the lower unit pulled off, of course the housing was completely melted from running dry at some point. So I installed my new kit, come complete with a new housing, and let's put it back together and see how it does. Well, we had success with getting the impeller to start flowing water through the telltale and the exhaust. However, I just was not very happy with how this thing was running. I began to wonder if it was just running this way because it was out of water and didn't have any load on it, and then maybe I was applying throttle too fast, but it was not running very well at all. It was very hard to start, so kind of made me think. You happy that thing ran last night?
Yeah. Can we see if it floats now?
Sure. We'll have to go get some tires at least put on that trailer. You want to go do that next?
Mm-hmm.
Llantas no bueno, cabrón. Well, let's go see what this thing will do. I'm excited to go out here, give it a shot. See what we can make out here. You want to jump up in the boat? I'll go ahead and put the plug in it, and we can back it down in the water and see how it works.
There's a dead fish.
Well, once again, it was really hard to start, so we had to give it a little spray of some aerosol courage, and then it finally lit off.
Not really running that good.
He was not wrong. It was not running very well at all. It became pretty apparent that I think I had some carburetor issues from sitting as long as it had, but we figured we were going to go give it a shot, and it became very apparent that we could not get this thing to get up on plane very shortly at all. This is as fast as I could go. Not doing too good. But we out here. We're under a train. with the barges.
Those things carry carts.
They can carry all kind of stuff, I think.
And they carry a car.
A car?
Yeah.
The ones that carry cars are usually enclosed. So. Yo, Mix Factory. Is that where your cat food comes from?
Yeah, that's what it smells like.
You smell the cat food?
Yeah.
One of the main reasons that your boat is going to bog after sitting, aside from the normal fuel gunking up in the bowls and stuff like that, but we really should be using fuel stabilizers, non-ethanol fuel, things of that nature in our boat, you know, so we won't really talk about those. However, boats have a unique process where they're a boat, so they're running on the water. They're not worried about dirty air, let's say that. So you're not going to find a boat normally that has an air filter on it. Most of these outboard engines are just going to be sucking in open air. With that being said, they don't have to put all their emphasis into sucking all their air out of one place. And so we will notice that whenever we start looking at how a outboard carburetor is set up, we'll have a lot of air bleeds that are right up inside the air horn. But then we also have an air mixing chamber, which is right up on top, which sucks air from the back. So into this little area, atomizes all the fuel in this area. So if we get this boat sitting up and we have this nice little mud dauber wasp that wants to come on down in here and fly in the air box and say, "Oh, that looks like a great place to go," he'll go right up in there, or right up in the back, or even down in this little hole here that's supposed to also be a vent to go in the back if any fuel drains out of there. Oh, look, he went all the way in there and made a nest too. So this is the problem that you're going to encounter, is all this little mud and stuff being packed in by mud daubers from these things sitting up. I've seen this more times than I have not. More times than fuel's gone bad has been this crap. So with my boat bogging down as much as it has for as long as it's been sitting up, I am willing to bet $1 that as soon as we get all this dirt clogged out or cleaned out of all these passages, this thing's going to run like a scalded cat. So as stated before, whenever we lift this guy up after we take the panel off, we can see how the mud dauber has literally got in here and completely clogged this breathing passage with dirt. This is supposed to be open and normally let air go in here and then go down and mix with the jets. And you see that is not happening. Now that we got it cleaned out and dug all that shit up out of there, you can see that as this plate sits down on there, it still gives it a little window right here where it can suck air in. It goes and travels up both sides and then goes and mixes into the high-speed air bleed jets. And we need those in order to atomize fuel correctly. Well, I got my freshened up carbs put back on. We'll put the air box back together and see how she runs. Also got a new set of some Sparkum.
Got the motor running now. Right now we're building up here. You can see the old carpet here. Brand new carpet here.
Well, we get a gloomy day here in the marina with the tropical storms approaching. However, We got her legal, bro. You wanna go take it out? Go see what it'll do? I think we about ready, aside from our ghetto fuel caps and lack of rear deck and stuff like that, but she ready to run. Got a little bit of some front decking temporarily down to stand on. Have not even recarpeted the boxes yet, and we have yet to get a trolling motor for this bad boy, but yet today our focus is boating, not fishing.
Tennessee River. Place to go. It's floating. You Spider-Man?
Boat Spider-Man. Marine Spider-Man.
I don't think Spider-Man has a boat. Or even half of a boat, like ours.
You having a good time, buddy? You having a good time? We were so pumped to put the hammer down, we didn't even get our whole shot filmed. But man, this thing jumped right up out the water and just got on plane and flew. It was awesome. This is Browns Ferry Nuclear Power Plant, located right on the Tennessee River. Instead of having giant coolant stacks, these use very small rows of small cooling banks with heat exchangers. And then we got the one big blowdown stack in case of an emergency. Seeing the big smile on this kiddo's face at the end of the day made it all worth it. Thanks for watching.